welcome to One Life Mechanics. I wanted to talk today about psychosis, which is something I have personally experienced, if that's what we can call it. That is currently what the present medical community likes to call it, but it was not always considered that way. If you go look online for traditional perspectives, you will find one very popular article about the African perspective of psychosis and what it means to a larger and greater community. Basically, the general consensus is that these breaks with consensus reality, or what reality other people are looking at, considers normal. These breaks happen because there is a message that needs to come through, or new and different abilities that need to happen, some kind of merging with the greater part of existence. And while that is difficult to understand or really grasp, that is the general initiation of what is considered a medicine person. And in many cultures, a medicine person is not considered such until they complete such an initiation, meaning that they go to the other side, things don't make sense, possibly for quite some time, years, and their journey or trick is to come back from that and bring back something useful. Which seems in the moment like a large order to deliver on, because in the present moment, you might be seeing things and hearing things that other people do not see, hear, or experience. You might be feeling distortions in time, meaning that you are time traveling within your own timeline or possibility of things for you to experience in this lifetime. You might be having questions on what is real, what is not real, because sometimes even physical reality doesn't feel real enough. Like, what is reality becomes the general question. Is what's real what's going on in my head, or what I can see here, out here? And even then, the merging becomes very confusing. For those that have experienced psychosis, maybe you have noticed that what you're thinking in your head starts happening outside of your head in physical reality, which is not helpful. What is happening in those moments, and this is my own interpretation from the guidance that I have experienced from my guides, is that our manifesting abilities are more potent during the times when we are manic, or those times when we're at very high energy. And what people call schizophrenia is being upset or scared of those manifestations, meaning that paranoia or fear of the unknown is what's happening. And during those times, what has been the most helpful to me has been getting it out into nature, being more physical, doing yoga, meditating if possible, which if you can do that while you're having a psychotic break, you are a hero, because it is so hard to sit down and concentrate on anything. But if you can sit, you may find that there is such peace in just closing your eyes and focusing on your breathing, which is all meditation really is. Pro tip. It's sometimes just sitting and breathing and noticing that that is the most real thing, the in and out breath of reality, which in and of itself is trippy as all get out, admittedly. But that is the nature of the universe. And the trick is to get really comfortable, to know that you are supported. That's a phrase I had to repeat to myself, which is, you are supported. You are safe. Because at any one given time, all of your angels and guides are right there with you, holding you, whether you are aware of that or not. Maybe you are very aware of that. because sometimes our abilities come out during those times. Our true gifts come out. And for some of you, that may really be noticing your ancestors, your angels. Basically, the message is you are not going crazy. You are simply experiencing more than what we normally experience on a regular day. And that can include things like body sensations, tingling, feeling like you're being touched. That could be your guides, your ancestors, your angels that are trying to get your attention. Just calm down and breathe, which is by far one of the most helpful things, is to notice your breath. And if you can, get to a yoga class and breathe there. Being more physical can sometimes be helpful. As long as, I understand that for some people, even that may be something that is anxiety causing. Being near water or getting in water, going swimming, is actually very helpful also. Simply because water is energetically cleansing, so anytime that you're getting into the shower, this can energetically cleanse your auric field. But just getting into a body of water, getting into an Epsom salt bath, if you can, get to a lake, any more nature, communion with nature during a psychotic break is optimal. If we could ship everyone in the psych wards to the middle of a forest, that would be optimal. And just have them sit outside, step on the grass, get more electrically more balanced. That's something that happens is the brain does get unbalanced during high anxiety. Because you don't necessarily know what's going on during a psychotic break. Nobody does. That's kind of the point. The medical community has no idea what's going on because they're very unwilling to accept that there is something more to what's going on other than something wrong with the physical body. And mental unwellness. What does that even mean? I mean, mental unwellness basically means that society is not structured in a way that supports the human spirit. And so, some people that are more sensitive to this fact, or become more sensitive due to an accident or some life-changing experience that basically has them come a little more unhinged and start questioning reality, some esoteric questioning, means that these people become more sensitive to the fact that, it's just not working out. Our relationship with nature as a user of nature is not working out. And for those that become more sensitive, that is extremely psychologically upsetting to know that we are not treating ourselves as a part of nature. You are wearing dirt right now. This is all made of dirt. This is fancy dirt you're wearing. And you get to walk around in it for an unknown amount of time, which is a gift. So treat it that way. I understand that during a psychotic break, there are many times, even people that aren't going through a psychotic break, don't feel like being on the planet. And that's because we get stuck in situations that are not conducive to our spirit. But the solution is always the same, which is to get back outside if you possibly can. And look up at the sky and breathe and notice that you are here. And we need you. We need you because that's a gift. Do all the things. That's not a phrase that is unheard of. That's something you hear in the unknown downloads, right? We need each person's gifts. So when, people in Hollywood start saying things like, do all the things, that is because it's a common message that people get, meaning we need your gifts. We need you. We need you to participate. We need we need you to get through this. Because on the other side of that is something more than what maybe you had expected. And we're just in a weird part of history where we get to make a lot of changes, but it's like walking into, a messy playroom and be like, well, yes, all the toys are all over the floor and you can't even see the floor. It is a mess here. That is the status of the planet. And cleaning up can be a horrible chore, or we can invite Mary Poppins in to hang out and make it more fun. So, for those of you that are seeing things, hearing things, I want to say a little bit more on that, because sometimes those things are things that scare you, or that are actually thought forms, meaning that because of fear and focusing on it for so very much, they become a thought form, and they almost take on a life of their own. And these can be very negative thoughts, very negative perspectives. They might be saying things that are not kind. They might be ghosts, or people that don't know that they're gone and they don't know how to make it to the other side, which is in of itself a gift. I know it doesn't sound like it, but maybe you get to be that shepherd. The choice is finding someone that can guide you through that process so that you can help these beings if this is something you're experiencing. Or they could be thought forms, meaning that these negative, they're not beings, because they don't have a soul, they don't have a mind like a human does, but because you or somebody else has focused on them so much, they take on a little bit of a life of their own. They sort of collect energy. So I want you to think about it like static electricity in space. When stars form, it's a collection of dust, and that dust has more and more gravity, attracts more dust, and eventually starts compressing and becoming so dense that it becomes a star. And thought forms are an electrical creation of somebody's thought, which is why thoughts are so important. Maybe you've heard the concept thoughts are things, which can go both ways, right? You can steer your own ship. You can decide what you're going to think about, but that takes a lot of focus and mastery, doesn't it? So these thought forms can take on a bit of a life of their own, because they've collected more energy from here and there and other people that have thought similar things. And suddenly, you, as a more sensitive person, might be able to see them. But that does not mean they are real, or that you have to follow what they say. Because, even children that I have taught them how to meditate, which is to still your mind and breathe, sometimes they also hear things that aren't there. Things like, kill her, or go hurt this person. It doesn't mean that these people, or these kids, are crazy, or that they're going to follow it. They have the wisdom, because they are kids, that there's like, oh, you can't trust all the voices. But we as adults somehow manage to forget that. Oh, we have to follow all the sounds of all this noise that's going on. It's like going to a rock concert and imagining that you have to listen to everyone yelling whatever it is that no one can hear in the middle of a rock concert. Same difference. You can't always follow what you are experiencing when you are in a negative emotional state. That is not a place from which to be making decisions. When you listen to your own breath, you find peace and stillness. And from the center of that hurricane, is the better place from which to make better choices. And sometimes your job might be to shine light onto that thought form or idea until it disappears. Because very little can stand in the way of love and light. In fact, nothing that is not of love and light. In my automatic writing course, we connect with our spirit guides, our angels, our ancestors, whoever it is that's on your team and supposed to be helping you. We connect more deeply with those guides so that we can know the difference between what is a negative coalescence and something we should actually be listening to. Because there is a difference, and it is very, very obvious once you know what you're looking for. To know the difference between a voice that should be listened to and one that should not. Because those voices that should be listened to or could be listened to, those are always going to lead you in a direction of more stability, more prosperity, more love, more ease, more peace. Those are the only ones you need to be listening to. All the other ones, they need help. They might need your help because you might be experiencing something very unique that is a gift, and it just needs that distinction. So I kind of just wanted to share some of that with you today. Help you find focus on your own breath. And note that you are safe at all times. The most danger that we experience during a psychotic break is usually danger to ourselves, putting ourselves in difficult situations, doing things that are unpredictable or maybe not in our best interest, refusing to accept help from other people, or getting too engaged in sometimes the euphoria of action, of feeling that is not yet backed up by action. Meaning that you may feel that you are at the top of the world, and that is wonderful, but you are meant to exist in that state in a sustainable, grounded way. So that means if you feel like you're worth $1 million, it doesn't mean to go spend it all or spend frivolously or take risky investments. What it means is to build up your wealth to that point where you meet that euphoria every day because you wake up in a $1 million house that you bought yourself. How are you going to get there? It's true that in order to experience wonderfully positive things like that, you have to feel like you're worth $1 million, and you have to work towards that. But sometimes manifesting that level of prosperity is not something that you can reach in one night, is not something you can reach in one investment, is not something you can reach with a risky action. And it is important to note the difference. Maybe at that moment, that's when your angels and guides are trying to show you what it feels like to feel better, because maybe you haven't gotten to feel good or feel positive things in a long time. Or maybe you are getting to feel beyond the veil to the joy and exuberance that is every breath, in every moment. It still means that even if you reach enlightenment, what do you do afterwards? You still chop wood and carry water. Still, there is a groundedness to each day. There's no escape from sort of the mundane, which is not mundane. There is magic in every moment if you look for it, if you can feel it, if you can sense it. That's what your heightened ability to sense things is for. It's there so that you get to experience more of life, but to do it from a grounded space where you can maintain that. If your physical body is unable to maintain high levels of dopamine or serotonin or any of the oxytocin, you do not have the nutrition to support that. It might be a good thing to figure out what lifestyle changes will be useful to help you experience that consistently. That is useful research. And that is something worth hyper focusing on if you're going to. There are uses for all of these so-called disorders of ADHD and all, like OCD. All of these things have their place. You just have to know where to look. OCD could be as simple as using that focus to focus on each one of your breaths, not in a afraid way, but in a way of noticing each breath because you enjoy each moment so deeply. But nature is, at this point, the greatest teacher, and your internal knowing of focus, your internal knowing guidance is what will show you the most. And there are people, such as myself, who've been called to help. And if you can find other people to work with during a psychotic episode, I would highly suggest that, because they are out there. And it is so much easier to know that you're not losing it. You're just experiencing something that your therapist may not have ever been privy to. And that is okay. They can still help you. They can still help you process the emotions. They can still help you with any somatic work from the past, processing things that hurt. Let them help you. But know that the prescriptions they give you may or may not be helpful. And you do have the agency to decide what is right for you. Having said that, please note that the experience is very difficult on your friends and family around you that are trying to support you. So even though there may be a lot of turbulence for you, know that it also affects them. They're going through this with you. Life is not just about you. Our lives belong to each other because our skin comes from the same earth, our spirit comes from the same spirit that creates us all. And because we're all connected, what you're going through affects me, affects the person next to you. So make it a gentle ride if you possibly can, because you can see a little bit more than what perhaps the rest can. And because you can, you get to make it a little easier for all of us by discovering that world, your own experience, gracefully through each breath, each moment. I hope that this video has given you a little bit more clarity, a little bit more peace of mind that what you are experiencing is experienced by others as well. You are not alone. And to reach out for help from those that can truly help you. I hope this video has given you some ideas on where to look. I'll be here next time for another video, and I hope to connect with you more deeply, either through my Facebook group or through sessions. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this and create a better world for yourself and all of us.